All right, guys, and we are live. I am excited to be doing this interview. Hello, everyone. This is Bunmi Moore coming to you from South Carolina. In fact, I'm here in Hilton Head, South Carolina today, and I have a special guest here with me all the way from Cali, Colombia, South America, and that would be my father, Mr. Zeke Stewart. Say hello to our audience, Daddy. Wave. Say hi to everybody.
Hello, everybody. How you guys doing?
Awesome.
Welcome to South America.
I wish I was there in the warmth because it's like 37 degrees here in South Carolina. So I would love to be in
It's like
South America.
it- it's like 82 here.
He's rubbing it in, guys. But look, we're going to get straight into this because we don't know how long his signal is going to hold. But today we are talking about one of the financial challenges that absolutely does affect you, whether you think it does or doesn't. We're talking about one of the financial challenges that affects us as entrepreneurs, that affects you as a 9 to 5 employee, that basically, if you're living here in America, you have to deal with this financial challenge, but we have a way for you to be helped. And so, Daddy, I remember
Yes.
when I was little, you would always talk about how wealthy people work to beat inflation and minimize taxation, right? So today we're going to talk about that dirty four-letter word. Is a four-letter word? No, it's a five-letter word. Taxes. So talk to us. Hey, Jackie. Jackie saying hello to you. In fact, talk to us a little
Hello,
bit
Jackie.
about why
Okay.
we need to do more to learn how to shift the income away from the government and back to us.
Well, that goes back several decades, way back when we were in A.L. Williams. We learned the concept of if you're going to get wealthy, if you're going to get rich, there's a minimum of two things that you have to understand and you have to get good at. One, you have to beat inflation because inflation steals money from everybody. Rich, poor, doesn't matter.
Mhm.
I mean, there's no loophole for for getting rid of inflation. But taxation is a different story. Poor, very poor, don't have to pay taxes. The middle class, they pay a lot of taxes. The rich, they can hire big accounting firms, law firms to go through the loopholes, and when they minimize their taxes. Imagine a wealthy guy. I mean, he's making say $1 million a year,
Mhm.
and normally his taxes might be 45% or 45,000 dollars. No, $450,000,
Mhm.
45%. And if he can get to reduce that, minimize that, keep that, he can become rich or richer. You understand? This is exactly what the now you take the middle class. Uh, he's making 100,000, and his taxes might not be 45, but it certainly might be 35%. So 35% of his money goes to taxation, and he doesn't have the wherewithal, the knowledge, the know-how to hire and to reduce his taxes. And he's paying that each and every year for 40 years. And you wonder why at the end of 40 years he's either dead or dead broke.
Wow.
That's a clue. So, guys, it's so important that you understand how to reduce your taxes. And if you're a network marketer, you've probably heard that one of the best, one of the best tax loopholes, if you will, is having a home-based business. If you have a home-based business, you have at least a minimum of 138 deductions that you can legally take. Guys, you can reduce your taxes in a big way with 138 deductions. Now, having said that, that's available to you, but you got to do something. What you have to do, number one, you got to keep your receipts
Mm.
so you can have these deductions. That's big. A lot of networkers, we're busy, we're building a business, we're running, and we spend money on meetings and whatever. We spend money on T-shirts, whatever. And if you don't keep the receipts, you cannot tell the IRS that this deduction is valid, and therefore you lose dollars. Deductions equal dollars. Guys, I want to say that deductions equal dollars. The more deductions that you have, the more dollars that you get to keep. And the name of this game is not making money, it's keeping money.
Well, that's what they say. It's
Guys,
not what we earn, it's what we keep, right?
absolutely. The richest man in Babylon, he saved 20% of everything he earned, and he became the richest man in Babylon. So it's not what you earn, it's what you get to keep. So, guys, uh, another thing that the middle class do, we are big on getting refunds back from the IRS.
Yeah, that's a joke.
God, Robert Kiyosaki said, that is dumb. Why would you give the government? Yes, Robert Kiyosaki says that is flat out dumb. Why would you give the government your money? Let them hold it for a whole year and they don't give you any interest on it.
Mm.
Dumb, dumb, dumb. So what we need to do, and there's some companies that teaches us, instead of, giving your money to the government, you get to keep the money. You get to use the money. And then you pay them what's what's left at the end of the year. So there's two things here. You got the people that's in business, then you got the employees. The people in business with the 1099 guys, they don't give the government their money. They don't do what we call uh, uh, um, I'm drawing a blank on it. They don't give the government their money. They get to hold their money. They get to spend it, and then they give the government what's left.
Right. They
Let me
don't
say
give
that
the
again.
government an interest-free loan on their money like W-2 employees do.
Exactly. But they get to have the money. They get to use the money. They get to um, take that money and invest it, or they get to take that money to grow their business. And then what they have left, they pay taxes on. But the W-2, the employee, is almost the opposite. I mean, he doesn't even get to see the money. The government takes the money out of his check before he gets the check, and then they hold the money. He has less cash flow to work with. And at the end of the year, after a year of government holding his money, then he'll get some money back. And boom, and the sad thing that he is so happy that he got this refund. He
Mm.
is so happy that somebody held his money all year long. They made interest, and then they give it back to him, and he is so happy. I mean, that's the middle
Ooh.
class. I mean,
Well, listen.
I mean, we got to do better than that. We got to
We,
educate people that look, there's a better way. I
mm-hmm.
mean, if you're gonna have money to send your kids to college, have a retirement where at the end of 40 years that you got enough money to live on. In order to do, you got to be smart with your money. And taxes is the biggest expense that you're going to incur over a long period of time. So I remember back in the day, Boomer, that we preached that really big time, and we helped a lot of people to become educated and get to the point that hey, they didn't give the government their money for a year, then get a refund and got no interest on their money. You take your money, you invest it, and then you pay the government what you owe them at the end of the year. Hey,
Well, Daddy, I
Boomer,
appreciate you.
that's
I
my story.
well, listen, I appreciate you sharing that. For those of you who are just joining us, we're talking about one of the biggest financial challenges out there that impacts Americans today, and that would be taxes. And this is what we're doing. As my father was talking, I thought of the title, The Miseducation of the American. Do not be okay with working hard, most times on a job you don't like, most times being underpaid, just to have the government to take your money first and give you the crumbs of what's left. You should be mad about that. You shouldn't be sitting idly by and being okay with it. But here's the thing, most people don't know what to do. They're like, well, this is the system. This is how it works. Guys, the system that is impoverishing you is not set up to empower you. You have to learn the rules of the money game so that you will not end up dead or dead broke like most of the people after working 40 hard, long years. And so that's why we got to get this financial education, guys. And so we're on a movement to help people to make wealth real in their lives. It starts with minimizing your taxes. Start now. You're saying it's 2020. I'm having 2020 clear vision. Well, start by minimizing taxation. And so I'm really excited that we're having this conversation. Now, let's talk about having a home-based business, because a lot of people know I'm a home business entrepreneur. There are a lot of people out there who are W-2 employees. And that is the worst way of earning money, is just exchanging time for dollars. And you're in the worst setup as far as taxes go. So, Daddy, I remember years ago we used to do presentations in our financial business, and we would say how just by having a home-based business, you can save $2,000 to $10,000 a year in taxes. That's $2,000 to $10,000 a year that was going to Uncle Sam that you can now put into your family's bank account by having a home-based business with an intent to make a profit. It doesn't say you even have to make a profit. It's an intent to make a profit. So these are some of the things that we have to learn and we have to take on, because taxes are real. Working 30, 40, 50 years hard on your job and still end up impoverished, that's real unless you learn how to keep more of your hard-earned money. So, Daddy, let's talk about taxes. What types of taxes are there out there that we're paying? Because it's not just income tax.
Well, income tax is the biggest one. So we
Mm-hmm.
got we got federal income tax, we got state income tax. A lot of municipalities have a tax. We got sales tax. We got literally a death tax.
Wow.
I mean, there's so many taxes out there, but the one that affects the middle class the most is federal, state, municipal, and sales tax. Those are the big ones. Then there's others out there.
Well, hey, I want to take a minute and say
Hey, Terrence Hawkins, how are
Terrence
you?
Hawkins. Terrence is doing an amazing job of helping people all over the country to make wealth real. I mean, talking about the tax man, this guy right here is showing Americans how to keep more of their hard-earned money, how to save on taxes, and if you got a tax issue, he can help you right there as well. So thank you, Terrence, for joining us on this live. He said, "That's my man Zeke." He was talking about you this weekend at the seminar, saying he really looks up to you guys. So thank you, Terrence, for joining us, and Jackie Empowers and Gomacia, who is another awesome home business entrepreneur who knows the benefits of building a phenomenal international business like she is doing in her wellness company, and as smart and savvy as an entrepreneur as she is, I know that all that international travel that she does and meals and everything, that she is real big at making sure that she saves all of those receipts and takes every deduction that there is to take as you are building your business. So basically, guys, think about this. Amazon, you know how much money that Amazon made, and they paid zero in taxes. Like, you may be saying, well, how did they do that? Was it legal? Rich people find every letter of the law that they can, every loophole that they can to minimize their taxes. Why shouldn't you be doing the exact same thing? And so, taxes are one of the biggest challenges, financial challenges that we are going to have to face, guys. Don't just sit there and stand idly by and just be okay with Uncle Sam reaching into your check every 2 weeks and taking out their part and giving you the crumbs that are left. Daddy, is there anything else you want to say to empower the people? We got to wake people up financially, help them to make wealth real. If you want to get wealthy, you got to keep more of your money. You can't let the government reach its greedy arms into your bank accounts.
Yeah, woman, I could talk on this subject probably for an hour. But I want to emphasize too, not necessarily rich people. I'm talking about average people. They pay so much taxes, and they're the least ones that can afford it.
Mm-hmm.
You get somebody that's making you know $50,000 a year, and they got to pay $15,000 in taxes if they don't know. But if they understand about making wealth real, they can probably reduce that down to almost zero. Because having a home based business, guys, I want to drive this home. 138 deductions
And
out of
probably more
138.
now.
Yeah, probably more now. But out of that, you can reduce tremendously. Just think about getting a raise of $15,000 a year. That's a
Wow.
sizable raise. So what if you took that $15,000 a year and you put it into an investment? You put it into an investment, uh, and not some kind of crazy interest, but let's say you just got a modest 8%
Mm-hmm.
compounded for 30 years. I don't know what that is right now, but I know it's a bunch of money.
I know
And
it's
it's a bunch of
brilliant.
money that I know it's a bunch of money that you wouldn't have.
Mm-hmm.
It's enough to send your kids to college, guys. This is what we're talking about. Now, I want to challenge you to do some math. I want to challenge you to look at your situation and see how much money you can save if you reduce your taxes by X. You have to get involved in this. You can't leave it up totally to your accountant. Accountant, they can do a lot, but you got to have something, give them something to work with. If you give them something to work with, they can work it. But you got to the first step starts with you thinking that hey, I can do better. I worked hard for this money. I want to keep as much as possible. So what can I do? I can be diligent and I can be more detailed in my business. You know, I I can have a system of keeping my receipts. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I can look at every deduction. And then you need to understand that deductions equal dollars.
Mm-hmm.
Deductions equals dollars. The more deduction you have, the more dollars you get to come back into your pocket. But I just wanted to boom and just to emphasize, you know, you know, middle America, guys, you paying the bill. I mean, the rich people, I mean, they don't even have to pay taxes. They got the system, the system is rigged in their favor. But
Mm-hmm.
you got to look out for yourself. The government is not looking out for you. Nobody else is looking out for you. And you need to be an entrepreneur where you get a 1099, where you get to keep your money before the government gets it. And guys, it all turns out to this. You got to be responsible for you. At the
Mm-hmm.
end of the day, that's what we're talking about. But when you do that, you can change your really retirement plan because so much money that would have gone to the IRS will go into your pocket. And if you are diligent with that, just keeping that, not spending that, investing that at a modest rate of return, that grows to a tremendous amount because you got to understand the eighth wonder of the world. Booming, what's the eighth wonder of the world? I know you know it.
Compound.
Compound a compound interest is the eighth one in the world. That will make you rich, guys. So here again, but man, that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Hey, I want to say hello to Sheila Mack and Minister Rosa, who is joining us as well. Guys, this is a powerful conversation. We need to have more conversations like this. We got to stop just complaining and being frustrated about finances and do something about it. This is something that you can literally do something about starting today. If you are a W 2 employee and you don't have a home based business, hey, see a sister, or I can introduce you to some people who can show you how to set up one rather quickly. Right then and there, you probably can get, I mean, on the low side too, but we say $2,000 to $10,000 a year back into your household just by having a home based business. That puts you in control. You have the power. As my father said, deductions equal dollars. Don't you want more of your dollars? I know you do. You said it, 2020. I'm going to make them dollars. I'm going to make that money in 2020. We'll start with minimizing the taxes on the money that you are already making. That's one thing right there. The other thing, guys, the power of a mentor. I knew by being in I have an awesome wellness business, and I knew that I needed help with taxes. I knew that I needed to get some experts in my corner to show me how to take advantage of all the different deductions, 150 some deductions that are out here to you. I knew out here for us. I knew that I needed to be able to have experts like on speed dial, so I could pick up the phone or type in a chat question to be able to get answers to my tax questions and issues and things that have to do with money. So getting a mentor in your life is really important. I'll have a link below if you're watching this on YouTube or whatever, so I can hook you up with my people. But I'm just really, really excited because at the end of the day, guys, we've got to win at the money game. We got to win at this money game. And there's nobody readily out here teaching the average person how to win. And Daddy, I love this. Yesterday, Jackie Empowers and Go Messia, who's a part of my wellness company, she was saying that, there's the rich and there's the poor. There truly is no middle class. She said middle class is a fancy word for the decorated poor. I was like, oh, that's so powerful. I never heard of that. Middle class is a fancy word for the decorated poor. So, hey, let's try to get out of no, let's not try. Let's get out of that category and get into the rich category and starting to do what the rich do. Think how the rich think. What do? They work to beat inflation and minimize taxation. And that is so important. So my father's been joining us today all the way from Cali, Colombia, South America. When are you coming back to the United States, sir?
I'll probably be back in the next 3 or 4 months.
Okay, all right. Well, I'm looking forward to seeing you, but I'm glad with the power of the internet, I can see you anyway here. We thank you for giving us value today to our audience. Any last closing words as you wrap up about this financial challenge that hits so many people hard right between the eyes? Those taxes.
Yes, Boomy. I read this book some time ago. I forget the title, but it goes something like this. Uh, the middle class and the rich, they think totally opposite.
Mm-hmm.
So we got to understand that if we are in that, category of middle class, the glorified poor, then we need to get out of that. In order to get out of that, we got to change our thinking. See,
Mm-hmm.
we got to change our thinking. If we keep thinking the way we're thinking, we're gonna keep getting what we're getting. If we change our thinking, then we can change our standard of living. We can change at the end of the day how much money we get to keep. See, I want to emphasize that how much money we get to keep. Some of us, I mean, we make a lot of money. But that's not the deal. What you make, the deal is what you keep, guys. And the biggest way to keep money is to reduce your taxes and beat inflation. I was told that 30 years ago. It was true then, it's still true today. And, just to add to that, we got to beat inflation. We got to beat taxation. And guys, we have to save money. I know
Hmm.
that sounds foreign to some of us, but we got to get into the habit of saving money. And a good way to save money is to do it systematically, automatically. Just like the government takes out your taxes and you don't see it, you got to save money for yourself, or you got to take it out before you get to see it. And guys, I've learned that, and you got to make it difficult for yourself to get to your own money because
Hey,
if we don't, go ahead, Boo.
no, no, you go ahead, finish, and I'll come back. Go ahead, finish.
Yeah, you got to make it difficult to get to your own money because I mean, a lot of times it's easy to get to. I mean, it's easy to spend. I mean, it's easy for people to borrow money from you and what have you. So you got to give this business at the end of the day, not being broke, not being poor after 30, 40 years.
Hmm.
And it happens by you thinking and putting in a plan today, not tomorrow, but today. If you start doing that today, you will be there already tomorrow.
I love it. I
Back
love
to
it.
you, Bunny.
I love it. I love it. Okay, guys. And that's a whole nother video, the whole nother conversation, because we're going to talk to you about how you can be your own bank and introduce you to some of those vehicles that only the wealthy and people who are making over $250,000, not that that's wealthy, but have had access to, but you deserve to know about, like those PRA accounts. We'll come back to that another day. But guys, as we end, let me just say this. I'm always talking about wellness, talking about my lower life business. And yes, your health is your greatest wealth. But don't just have your body to be well and then have your bank account sick. Get some financial healing too. And that's what we're talking about here today. And that's what we're going to be talking about more and more, having these financial conversations to help you overcome those major financial challenges that are ailing most of Americans. We're going to help you to win at this money game. Hey guys, do me a favor. Like, love, comment, share, give me a thumbs up. Do whatever you need to do to show some sisters some love and some engagement. And always remember this, that you are more powerful than you know. So let's go out here and create a great day for ourselves and amazing lives for ourselves. Bye bye. Thank you, Daddy. Appreciate you joining us.
Bye bye.
See ya.